Welcome to the Creative Connections Podcast, connecting creatives and geeks all over the planet, one tiny podcast at a time, once a week. We are grateful to be sponsored by several software tools sold in our tech shop at creativeconnections.tech. Check it out today and see what new tools we have for your business or creativity. And now, here is your hostess of Creative Connections, putting hashtag art and apps on the map, Stacy Braiuca.
And her amazing sidekick,
hello,
Miss Lindsay Badger. How are you today, Miss Badges?
I am wonderful. How are you, Miss Stacy?
I am needing a self-care break.
Yeah, we all need one of those every once in a while. I think I'm very much overdue for a self-care break.
It has been a crazy, crazy week or two. I got new projects cooking everywhere. I'm not teaching this summer, so I'm like doing even more project stuff. So what have you been up to this week?
I've been busy doing extra cleaning projects. My shower is sparkling more than it ever had been, probably. My kiddos are home all day, both of them, and I also watch my nephew, so I am having my hands full keeping up with all of their shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And it's lots of fun, but it does take a toll on my sanity.
Well, yes, and your nephew is getting ready to crawl all over the house, so that's like total new.
He's on the verge of crawling, and he's also teething at the same time. He's very curious and very cranky these days.
Hey. Not ever having been lucky enough to have one of those, but then again, enjoying having, I get to enjoy the babies and then hand them back. Although you get to at least hand him back.
Yes, I hand him back in the afternoon. Actually, probably in the middle of the show, his dad will show up, and so I'll disappear for a minute, but then I'll be back.
Okay.
I won't be needing you for long.
Oh, and disclaimer number 2, if she mutes herself, it's because there's shenanigans going on, and that's okay. They're kiddo shenanigans we like. We like kiddos.
Yes, my day job comes first.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, I'd say all day jobs come first, but no, your day job comes first above any other day job ever. Yes. Yeah. Mine would if my 2 were, thankfully they're old men, 4-legged, so they're, it's not going to be quite so bad. I have the fur babies, my loves, and they help me keep my sanity most of the time. But I decided earlier this week that I was going to take a break today and do some coloring.
Yes, it's therapy day.
It's therapy day.
It's so fun. We don't sit around in a circle and talk about our feelings. We color and get creative and throw color all over the paper, and it's so much fun.
Well, and with your amazing sauce, ability to shade stuff, so you guys are looking at a picture of a coloring book I have here with Carnival on it, and actually it looks like the way my screen's going, you actually are looking at not only the Carnival but the picture of the show, which is kind of cool. I'm not quite sure how that's going to show up, so it's the first time I've done a screen share from my phone showing you guys using an extra camera for that today. So if you're in the audience, type in some chats or emojis and let us know you're there. I want to see who's there. Even if all you can do is throw up an emoji, do that. Share this out. Yell at me if you want to possibly come in the room, because we actually might, have some other folks pop in and color with us. We can fit a couple people in our in our creative room, thankfully. So, I think I might have lost sound.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You were being a mime for a minute. You were miming. Not memeing, miming. So.
Those 2 things, yes.
So what kind of goodies do you have you're going to color with?
Well, I do have the Prismacolors, and I use them often, but I decided not to do those today. I also have a fabulous set of gel pens that I enjoy using as well, but I'm gonna go super simple And I have, look at all these colors.
Those look fun. And look at that sparkly pink case.
It's really cute. We're going with the Bic.
Bics. The Bics. See, so like we use,
it's a fine tip.
we use cheap but cool, like but ready to roll.
It's super cheap, but there's lots of colors and there's lots of fun things you can do with them. You can also go back and mix your colors with other mediums if you want to do gel pens or pencils on top of them. That might look kind of cool too.
That's true.
I haven't experimented with that, but it sounds awesome. Yes, I picked this up from the back to school section, and I absolutely adore it. It's so much fun.
I'm gonna have to watch and see if the back to school section has fun stuff like that we can use later.
Yes.
I see there's 2 people watching us, and since Lindsay's coloring, we're probably gonna have to like have somebody else drop us our hashtags for us as we go, because
many cool hashtags.
you know, yeah. I mean, back.
Tell them what we're going to be coloring out of today.
Oh yeah. Should I show it? Yeah.
Sure.
So I have a coloring book that's on my website, and it's going to be in the show notes so that you can actually buy a copy of this coloring book. You can download and print off as many copies as you'd like for your own use. You could copy 50 of the same page. I copied 3 of the same page so that I could color in them today. And so the page I'm going to use is page number 11, and you can't see it if I do this way. I'm going to put it on lay it down on my other book. Page 11, because it looks kind of like a rose and whatever, and that's what I think I'm going to color on today. And Lindsay has a copy of the same book. Go figure.
Yeah. And I already have it all printed out in its own fancy folder, because, you know, I have a thing with office supplies. It's a guilty pleasure. I love it so much. But anyways, I printed off your fabulous, fabulous coloring book, and I put it in there, and I picked out this design for today. It's page 6. Make sure I'm reading it right.
Those almost look like trumpets or almost.
I was kind of thinking they were almost like multi-seasonal in a way, sort of, because you've got like gingerbread men and like lilies, and the whole thing looks like it smells like. You could probably pull out something a little more fall or summer in there too with your color selection. So I mean,
so you could take one page and turn it into 5 or 6 different versions.
You definitely could. So that's going to be what I'm coloring today. Should I share the ones I've already done?
I was just wondering, you've already done some too. We got 5 people watching us.
Yay!
We're up to 5 folks. Shout it out. I may or may not be able to see who's watching, but I want to try and see.
Okay, I will share some of my doodly, my colory business. Now, some of these I've done with the markers, like I'm going to do today, and some of them I've done with the gel pens. So I can't remember if this is like the first one or whatever, but there's that.
And see, I never would have seen that in there. Oh my god! And I almost like it almost looks kind of splotchy-ish in the green area.
You could totally change it up to be more Valentine's-y, or you could add more purples or blues or whatever.
Is the splotchy look on purpose? Because I know you're like good at that kind of thing.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, this was done. Can you see the year? It was last year, so I've slept since then. So if I go back in time.
Oh wait. So yeah, this is supposed to be relaxed time. So.
It is relaxed time, so we're not going to stress out too much. Okay, so another one that I did probably about the same time as this one. So lots of fun colors. It looks almost like Yellow Submarine or Sgt. Pepper's when we Heart Club Band. I kind of love using all the colors.
Sergeant.
This one is blues and greens and yellows. It's fun. This one's more purpley and pinky. Look at this grasshopper. This one's probably my favorite one that I did with the markers, and I went back in and I outlined everything with black, so it has almost more of like a.
I love that.
This one's probably my favorite.
Kind of reminds me of my Zentangles I'm going to show off after a little bit too, that I'm showing a little preview of.
The last 2 that I have, I've done in the gel pens. This one's fun. It's more of your pastels and more hot pink or neon colors.
I like how you did the little
glass.
like two-tone. It does almost look like a piece of stained glass window.
I went in with the darker colors and tried to mimic some shading with the gel pens. So that's very fun. And then this one is your design you're doing today, but I've already done mine. So there it is. And I did kind of a similar technique of just playing around with the gel pens. There's some shimmering ones in there, and there's some more metallic-y ones in there so you can see.
And I have a trick that I learned from another gal online. Her name's Coloring Pages Bliss. I need to give credit where credit's due. She teaches a technique with glycerin, which I've just put in a little bitty, those jars that you pipe.
Muckers.
Yep. That you get at the fancy hotels when they have breakfast.
For anyone, I am a designer and I do catch weird things like that. I mean, I'm sure other people do too. I just pick up on weird brains.
Lindsay catches the awesome stuff like that. So that, you can blend with gel pens using glycerin. And so maybe I'll find her link and pop it in the links too, because I want to give, it's where I learned it from, and I'm not going to be using gel pens today, so I'm not going to show her technique, but I want to give her credit for her technique too.
Well, and you have a technique you can use similar with the colored pencils, right?
I have a technique that I'm working on with the colored pencils, and that's what I'm probably going to show off. So what I've got is a set of 150 cheap colored pencils that I'm going to show you look at how much of a point I can get on these colored pencils. All right, and the reason I can get that point is my favoriteest pencil sharpener ever, and it's this one right here. And the reason you can get that with it, let me not get wood all over my desk as I do this, is you see the inside of that pencil sharpener, how it has the grinder wheel on it instead of a razor blade?
Like the old school way.
Like old school, like
elementary school.
Back in elementary school when we used to use okay, same thing, but this takes 4 AA batteries. I can throw it in my bag. It doesn't get pencil shavings all over because they stay in there nice. It has 3 this one doesn't have 3 settings on it. I have another one that plugs in USB that has 3 settings. It can go like not so long, medium, and long Sharpie. But it like automatically kind of stops when it gets that long. And it also, because it uses the grinder, it doesn't break the lead off.
Yay!
And I know that there are ways to use sharpeners like this to not break the lead, and they work well, but it's with the razor blades, and they still could break off the lead. And even though these are only $30 for this set of pencils I've got, I don't want to break the lead. Because I'm like cheap like that on some things, and then others I'm like so not cheap on others. But check out, here's the box that they came in. Mm-hmm. And I'm not getting any money from these folks. I have no, whatever. And it's got a cool little color wheel on the back of it. I don't even have them in this box anymore, but I love the box because it's so huge that I kept the box.
A very grand box.
Probably also why I have so much stuff in my office, because I have, a box that doesn't have colored pencils in it. But the pencils are in, and they're off to the side here, but it's this great big zippered case. It holds 160 pencils, pens, implements of destruction. So I have the whole set.
Creation.
Huh?
Not destruction.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Implements of creation. It's got them all in one place, and along with I think I've got a white gel pen in there that's like good for one of the white gel pens that's like the good kind when it comes to highlights, adding highlights, because not all of them do. Here it is. I've also got a water brush in there. I've got a black Sharpie. I've got a glue.
While you're doing that, I'm going to start picking off the coloring party.
All right.
I've got my
and she's off. Blender pencil.
Trying to do this. Hold on.
White one.
Oh, I could share my my work in progress in my other book.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
This is the funnest. Okay, so I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 84, but I grew up in the 90s. So everything in this book is related to my childhood, and it takes me back every time I even look at the cover. Look how amazing this is. It's got Bill Nye the Science Guy, and Urkel. And Screech, Pokemon, and Furby, and Nintendo. There's so much nerdy goodness in here. It just makes me happy to even look at the book. So when you flip through here, it makes you even more happy because you see the full thing. But I decided...
And I'm so old that I don't get the Surge reference.
It's a soda. It's like a...
I know, but I don't get the reference. Like, was it a popular drink?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, because see, like, I was probably drinking other things about
like
that.
Yellow dye and copious amounts of caffeine. It's like, I don't think it was quite the equivalent of a Red Bull, but similar. It was like
pre-Red Bull.
Yeah, it's pre-Red Bull.
Okay, so you guys had Surge. We had Jolt.
Yes. Same.
We had Jolt. You guys had Surge, and then the next generation had Red Bulls.
Okay, so you remember Nickelodeon became and was birthed in the 90s. And
I babysat a lot of kids who watched Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So, I lived and breathed Nickelodeon when I was a kid, and they were all about sliming people, like getting slimed.
Right.
They always dump buckets of slime on people, especially like Double Dare and stuff. You got all kinds of nasty in that game show. So they have a whole page dedicated to the getting slimed. And obviously I'm not finished yet because I've only color blocked out most of the stuff, but I've started shading the words and started shading.
Look at the shading you're doing. I want to be you when I grow up, with like as an artist anyway.
This is done with my Prismacolor pencils, and it's been a labor of love, but I've really enjoyed it because it's nice to kind of keep the book next to my couch here, and whenever I have a quiet moment, I can kind of zone out for a little bit, and then when my kids come start screaming, I can set it down and then come back to it again later. It keeps me sane. So anywho, I'm gonna kick off.
Are you gonna start in it or start in?
No, I just needed a hard surface.
Ah, I see.
Here, go ahead.
The other little tidbits I've got sitting out with my colors.
This is how people back in the old days screen shared.
Oh.
This is old school.
It is
throwback for you on a Thursday.
It is a little. I forget it's Throwback Thursday every week when I do my show. Maybe my show should have a Throwback Thursday segment in it since it's on Thursday. Duh.
Show isn't old enough to have a Throwback Thursday unless you're like, oh yeah, here's my first episode.
We could show, I could show bloopers from that first show because there are definitely quite a few.
Start coloring, and Stacy will eventually get there.
I will eventually. I'll just show you guys the other things I have. I've got some Q-tips that are the Sharpie pointed Q-tips.
Well, what they want, Stacy.
I know, but I want to show like the stuff I'm going to use. Pan Pastel Colorless Blender. So that's what I'm going to start with. It's a colorless blender, and it almost reminds me of like a makeup like foundation kind of, but it's powder. So I'm going to put this on my coloring sheet. I'm going to use actually a little makeup, what are they called? Cotton round. I'm going to use a cotton round and just rub some on it.
I love them.
Yep, and I'm just going to rub it on the sheet. And I have not perfected, nor have I really done much of this technique, so this is live trial, folks.
Well, that's the best part. Is there anybody still watching this right now? Because I was going to see if anybody...
Yes, but they're not commenting.
If they enjoy coloring, and if they do they have a favorite book that they're working out of right now? Or, because I'm always on the lookout for really good coloring books. I'm really a fan of the adult coloring books with the snarky comments in it. And Stace, you have one of them that we both have, and we almost colored in it today, but we decided that we would feature your book.
I've actually got like 3 snarky books.
Snarkies are the best. I also love I don't own any, but it's on my list to buy. They have some that have like adult content in them.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about nudity. I'm talking about like swear words.
Like words. Swear words. I have
dinosaur book.
2 with swear words. One that's kind of the dinosaur-y. I've got 2 snarkies and 1 coming in the mail. So if you hear barky barks, that means my boys are telling me the mailman's here. And that means the snarky book's here.
They have fairies, and I also want to do like the really detailed like movie books, like The Princess Bride. I would love to own the Princess Bride book because that's such a cult movie with some of the most amazing lines. I use those lines from that movie constantly.
Yes, that is one of your favorite. Oh, so Constance Paisley, one of my dearest friends, she's coloring her tangles to no specific book. Speaking of tangles, look what I have underneath here, Miss Constance. I have some tangles I can work on. And I'm glad you brought that up because not only do I have those down here under this book, but I have a free guide to mindfulness as wellness guide that I'm going to drop the link in the comments for you guys to get the guide for free. You've got a copy of that guide, don't you, Lindsay? Yep. So I think I'm going to give that one away for free. And you guys, if you sign up for my mailing list, you can get my mindfulness mini book for free. And then, should I tell them the rest now or wait? I think I'll tell them now.
Go for it.
Watch the comments below this after the show. As soon as the show's done, I'm going to pop in. We're going to have a contest.
I love contests.
Yay!
I actually won a contest. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
You won a contest? So this contest, you're going to need to do 4 things. Actually, 3 things, kind of. You're going to need to tweet out you're going to have to do a tweet that has 2 specific hashtags in it. Okay?
The hashtags.
Yeah, it's got to have those hashtags so I can find you. Actually, it's probably just one hashtag, just our show hashtag, which is artnapps. So if you share the show right now onto Twitter, so grab this show link, share it over to Twitter, and tell them to come watch us and hashtag it artnapps, A-R-T, letter N, A-P-P-S. And it has to be exactly that so that I can find you, because that's where I'm going to draw the winner. If you don't tweet it, I can't draw your name. So you tweet that.
More peeps so that we can all have peeps.
Yep.
Color together.
Because we want to all be coloring peeps.
Yep.
So you go tweet it out. Then sign up for my mindfulness book, which is free. So you get a free book just for entering the contest. Then the third thing is kind of like, you don't have to do, but I'd love it if you share the show out right now and hashtag that artnapps and tell people that, you're watching and that you're coloring and that you're hanging out coloring with us. And then the last thing, make sure and be here next week for the show because I will draw the winner live at the beginning of my next show next week. So the winner, I think I'm going to draw 4 winners.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I think 4 people are going to win a copy of my coloring book. So you're going to get a free downloadable PDF copy coloring book.
Color this design too.
And this one right here that I'm doing, and you can color that. So that's what our contest is. And I'll post the details with the links and everything you'll need to do. I'll post that as soon as the show's over.
You guys, if you win, make sure when you color your designs to share with Stacy a picture of how you colored it. Mm-hmm. And I want to see too. I bet you she'll share it with you.
I'd bet. And actually, I think Lindsay will probably share out what ours end up looking like. We'll share it maybe we'll share it on the website or also here in the
yeah, we'll put it in the comments for sure.
In the comments. And you know what's happening as I'm coloring over the top of this colorless blender?
What?
It feels like it's going on like silk.
Oh man!
Like the pencil's just it's just gliding over the paper like smooth. And I haven't even gone a second layer. And you can see that I have one color here. Let me see, put my extra bright light on and see if that helps. Oh, it helps me be able to see it. Nice. I'm getting old.
Whatever.
I am. I'm getting old.
Old with a mindset, not actual.
Of course, I know that at least one other person in the audience is my age, so love you, Constance.
So, Stace, I woke up this morning to a wonderful surprise.
What did you get?
I won. Okay, I know everybody that's watching this has probably at least vaguely heard. I did not know that. That's good to know. Thank you. Sorry, I had to be educated. So I know you guys have heard of the most popular legging company on the face of the planet called LuLaRoe, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got a wonderful message this morning from one of the consultants that I kind of stalk, because I've just recently become in love with them.
You're stalking people again?
I am. I'm stalking people. But one of my stalkees sent a message this morning and said, "Congratulations, you won $10 in Lula Cash." So, awesome sauce. Yes. So I'm going to have to go shopping soon again. Because, you can't ever have too many LuLaRoe leggings. And if anybody tells you that you have too many LuLaRoe leggings, tell them they're a liar.
They're a Lula liar. You're lying. Well, I like the blouse you have on today, which I happen to know came in your Lula package.
Yes,
right?
I got my very... I'm really like a green Lula chick. I got my very first order in yesterday, after attending a online party for my sister-in-law, and because she's hooked on it, and my mother-in-law's hooked on it, and my other sister-in-law's hooked on it, and another world that she lives in.
You do know that's how addictions start, right?
Yeah. So
okay,
when family influence happens, it's bound to happen to you as well. It's just saying. You see them wearing it all the time when you go out to dinner together.
Yeah.
And posting all these cute pictures of all their awesome new stuff. And you're like, I want some new stuff too. So anyways, yes, I am totally a bandwagoner on the LuLaRoe. I'm a huge fan. I've been on eBay buying things, so this week is going to be very exciting. Because I have lots of packages coming in the mail in the next week.
I love it when packages show up.
I do too.
I love it more when the mailman knows not to ring the doorbell.
So in my first, I've had a lucky week, because during the party that I was at, or on, I don't know, you can't really say you were at a party if it was on Facebook, right?
Yeah, you can.
On a party, at a party. Anyway,
we're at a show right now.
At the end of the party, the consultant sent me a message and said, "Hey, you won a prize," and I got $20 in Lula Cash with my package. So now I have, can you do the math? I have $30 in Lula Cash. That's a free pair of leggings right there, people. Plus an extra $5.
Okay, but then I have to say, you have to go, okay, how much did you spend in order to get that $30 worth of...
Well, I didn't have to spend. I participated.
How much did you participate and or spend in order to...
When they do a post on their wall, they like to play games on their wall, in their VIP groups.
Oh, yeah.
Their pop-up parties, they like to play games. And part of the games, if you do what they ask you to do, they could be like, oh, go in my shop and comment on something that you love, or, play this game with us and you could win a prize or whatever. It's not every game that they play, but some of them they do. And if you do it, and it doesn't take that long to do, just a couple of minutes, you can spend more time on it if you want to, because I love looking at all the goodies in their shops.
That's why they have you playing the game, silly. But that's when I was doing direct sales. I had games like that. And yeah, it is extremely helpful.
So anyway, I just did it to play along and participate and be a part of the party. I wasn't really trying to win anything. But, I got a nice surprise this week. I won 2 different games in like just a couple of days. So I'm like rocking the LuLaRoe cash. I feel like a rich lady, and I really only got like $20.
Well, you got a free pair to cover your butts.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so I'm going to take a break on the yellow for right now. I'm going to switch it up. And since we're doing snowflakey stuff, I thought that maybe it would be cool to kind of make these legs look a little
Is it like that you're warm? Is that what the deal is?
Am I warm?
Yeah, that you're doing a wintertime scene because you're hot? Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
See, then that's funny is I didn't plan on picking, I'm not a yellow person, but like the first color I picked is like this light peach.
See,
and then I put brown.
So it's going to be a surprise when I get done. I'm kind of excited.
Now I have blues going on top on the next set. How did we both pick?
You look so much better than mine because
we didn't even plan this. And I've got blue, and you can't see mine. You guys, Lindsay can't even see what I'm doing. You guys can see what we're both doing.
I see Stacy's face. I cannot see her colors. So she has the advantage over me.
I could be like I could be showing a picture of her or drawing a picture of her, you know, not because I can't draw, that one wouldn't happen, but I could be, you know, I could not be coloring here and she wouldn't even know it.
I'd be like, chick, you just did maybe do this all by myself.
Exactly.
But that's okay. I don't mind.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out.
I would still color.
Hanging out coloring.
I love coloring. I always have and I always will.
So yeah, this stuff's like, it's, so if I put that colorless blender down, it's like the second layer's going on silk too. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing so I'm putting I'm highlighting or shading, I guess. I'm using a darker color around the outsides of the blue edges.
Yeah.
And then somewhere I had a third blue. Oh, I'm going to go over it with a really light gray altogether and blend it together with this lighter. Blend my medium tone in the background with the darker one. Ooh, I've gotten it a little bit too dark. Oh, well. You know what? That's something when you're coloring, especially when you're doing it for mindfulness and or self-care and taking a break. You got to be You got to be good to yourself and let yourself make mistakes, or let yourself do things that you would call a mistake otherwise.
Don't worry about it.
You can't be a perfectionist when it comes to adult coloring for like things like this. You can go print another copy of this page.
Yes.
You don't.
And if you're really like OCD about that kind of stuff, you could make a copy. Oh, hold on, I gotta mute for a minute.
So, yeah, I mean, you can, especially if you have a book that you have the permission from the author to print as many copies personally as you want, do that. And you could even like do that ahead of time. Like this one, I printed 3 copies because I wasn't sure. And if I wanted to say, oh, I hate this, and I shouldn't say hate, I don't like what I'm doing here, I'm going to do another copy of it, I could just switch it up and switch to another copy of the same page and keep going. But I'm going to allow myself to just enjoy what I've got and keep going. I'm not going to make myself put this one, you know, like I got out of the lines over here and whatever. I'm not going to worry about that. You can't let that be, especially when you're taking self-care time. Self-care time means kind of letting it go. While I'm sitting here, I'm also kind of anything, you know how you have all of your day's troubles and, you know, oh my gosh, do I have to have this bill paid, or what are we going to have for dinner, or I've, you know, this work stress or that situation. You've got to like have some time in the week, and really some time every day, that you let that go. 20 minutes a day. That's even 15 minutes a day. If you have a full-time job, they have to give you 2 15-minute breaks in that 8 hours if you are an hourly employee somewhere. So if you work for yourself, you need to give yourself those same 15-minute breaks, plus and a half-hour lunch or something. You have to do that for yourself. not just because it's some law somewhere. You need to do it so that you can be more productive. Spending time doing things like coloring for 15, 20, 30 minutes anytime during the day or once a week or whatever, spending time doing creative things like that actually increases your productivity when it comes time to do work. And here's just a little bit of insight in why. Your brain, when you're doing other stuff, it's like you've got synapses firing right and left, and you're getting things all connected, and you also have serotonin and other chemicals going off in your body constant. And if you don't take some time to break away from that constant barrage of fight or flight or do something or get it done, if you don't take a break from that, your body by itself is going to break down, let alone your mental state and how you're feeling and that kind of thing. So if you give your body and your brain and everything a break and do something like coloring, while you're coloring, if the only thing you're thinking of is, ooh, this shade's looking really good right here, you're giving yourself permission to let go of all the other stuff for that 15 minutes. Come back to it when it's done. Come back and do we all have to adult most of the time.
Adulting is no fun.
I want an adult coloring book more of the time. I enjoy my adulting, but I want to child once in a while. As a matter of fact, one of the oils I have in my diffuser right now is called Inner Child, because it actually kicks up your creativity. And my writing has been flooding out this week with that. I'm going to thank Kelly MB for that. HypnoKelly.com. She rocks. She's the one who turned me onto that particular oil. And I wouldn't have believed it till I tried it. But we all have to take a break so that we can then adult when we need to. And you can actually adult better if you've taken breaks. There's research. There's research out there about it. Research. We've still got a couple people coloring with us or doing something. I can't tell who's there for sure, but I can tell that somebody.
Color friend.
Our fringe.
Sometimes it's therapy in itself to just watch somebody color. I know that Stacy, I think it was you that added me to that adult coloring group, where a lot of people share their art that they've done. And I know one of the lead ladies, I don't know much about the group, honestly, but she comes on and does her own thing and kind of gives tips and tricks and secrets on how to get a certain look or whatever.
Is that the one where she was doing one live not long ago and you were telling me she was on live and I was doing something else where I couldn't watch her?
Maybe so. I think, yes, because okay. I wanted to... Here, I'll share the trick, actually.
She's the one coloring Pages Bliss, who I want to have her on the show. So I think I'm going to tag her and tell her we were chatting about her.
Yes. So basically what her trick was is that if you're wanting to learn how to shade, and this can apply in a big area or the teeny tiniest area, however you want to do it, is you pick 3 colors. Your dark, your medium, and your light color. Mm-hmm. This is my slime colors, okay?
Slime
colors. And here, I'll use my slime book. Why not make some progress on it, right?
Yeah, let's slime some.
We'll slime some. Okay, so what I did is when you grab your pencil, grab it from the end.
Okay.
and lightly shade. And this is kind of what I call color blocking. I don't know what the official term is. It's what I call it.
Oh, I like
and
that.
It's really, really light coloring in, and you can actually, if you look close, you can see some of the white paper still through it.
Okay.
It's not really saturated color on there.
I'm going to try this while you're doing it. I'm going to try this with my light blue.
That kind of gives you a background color for me. And then what you do is you start.
I don't feel like I have control of the pencil.
I know, but you can grab it by the middle. You don't have to like grab it by the very end. Grab it like from here, just far back enough, because if you grip it right here, grip it right here, you're going to be applying too much pressure for this.
Okay.
So what you want to do is start back here, wherever it's comfortable for you to kind of just very lightly color it, and then you can go back over it. So basically think of it as like you're adding layers. Like you're doing a nail polish, you have to go back and add a second coat.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so I already did the base layer here. I'm going to do this little stringy guy. It's not really the best, but we'll make it work. Okay, so that I did with my medium green. And then I'm going to go in with my dark green.
Now, do you start with the lightest or the darkest or the medium?
I start with the base coat is a medium, but it's really, really light on the medium. And then I'm going to go in and just do like the edge.
I started with my light one.
Think about where the light is coming from.
That's the part that, even though I get it cognitively, I get the deal of like where the light's coming from and that it's coming from the same side all the time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, when you're going somewhere in the car and you're going to a part of town you're not used to very often, and you get turned around.
Yeah.
My brain gets all turned around when I try and do shading.
Okay. So the light's coming from the top, or from an angle somewhere from the top edge. Pretend like the top has a bar of light coming down.
Like a fluorescent. Okay.
It's a fluorescent, sure. So the lightest part of this string is going to be on this side, right here.
Right.
And the dark is going to be on the underneath.
On that string, I get it.
On this string. Well, it applies pretty much everywhere.
It's when something's in the middle.
Much because I'm trying to make them a little more 3D.
Okay.
But when you're doing objects, you see like this guy's sleeve is darker down here and it has lighter up here.
Yeah.
But way back here along this edge, I barely did a little bit of dark to make it look a little more 3D, like his arm isn't flat.
Okay.
So as it starts curving back around over the shoulder, that's when you start introducing a little bit more of your dark, but it's not going to be nearly as much as down
in
here
the bottom. And that's also because it curves back around and his head's kind of in the way of the light in a way. Right. But what about up at the top, under the TT under getting? Mm-hmm. What about that slime right there?
This slime?
The slime, no, underneath it. That slime right there. Because it's got a lot of light on it.
It does have a lot of light on it, but you're also trying to make it pop out. But it's got a lot of nooks and crannies. Your crevices.
Okay. So you're looking for the shapes.
I'm coloring the crevices dark. I can actually keep doing this. I'm coloring the crevices dark. Each line, I'm picking a little bit to color darker.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go back in and with my medium, I'll come in and I'll do like another round. Think of like you're doing a rainbow. You know how you have an arch of a rainbow and it has each color stacked?
Yeah.
That's kind of how you're going to do your light, medium, and dark. You build. See this little guy right here pops out really good.
So on the one I'm doing that you can't see,
this is
it doesn't really have a light source, so I'm not doing a good job on it. That's all right.
And that's basically what I'm doing is I'm starting in the crevice that I know is my dark part. That's the farthest point away from me. And then I'm going to rainbow stack it with my colors.
Okay.
And I'm going to go back in here with, this is my medium green.
Well, it's not just a rainbow stack. You're kind of covering over that dark just a little bit.
Blend the edges a little bit because that's how you don't get banding, which is where you have that hard separation. You're kind of going back over the dark a little bit with the lighter color.
Just so that it blends. Well, because my understanding there is also it's like the tooth of the paper is kind of like ridges and valleys.
Yes.
And that if you go over it light colors, and like Constance says, if you can keep using the same color to apply less and less color as you go to the light area to get the shading. Yeah. And that's definitely true. But if you're doing more than one color, it also fills in those little bits of, because you can see in mine, you can still see white.
Your base color is going to be like kind of like your overall, and then you're going to go in and apply a little bit more pressure when you're doing your highlights and your shadows, and then you can go back in and make sure that that's really saturated in there.
But I'm going to get real super technical here then.
I'm not gonna. Okay.
With a question.
Here, right? This does not look like slime. I look like I just did a green thing, a man thing. You see this right now?
Well, it's an adult coloring book without an adult coloring book, so you're gonna fix that.
See, this is why I need adult coloring books to keep my sanity.
But
I did not do this intentionally. It's funny though.
Well, so that little piece, so you're going to do something that's another thing about creativity is I like the fact that, like I was saying while you were muted, that, we all need a break and we all need to not be so perfectionist because we need to just take a break and let it be what it is. And you may have just created yourself a new technique somehow of pulling the most adult things out of a non-adult themed page. Who knows? But you accept what's there, and then you change what's around it to turn into what it needs to be.
That's true. That's
the beauty of it. And then but what you were saying about your more and more pressure, I understand, and I've not gone to school for art, so I'm saying this to you as a perception of somebody who's not gone to school for art, is that the tooth of the paper, it also depends on the quality of what your paper is.
It does, and that's why I say don't grip your pencil right here because you're just going to naturally push harder. Start when you're blocking out your colors. Start like mid-pencil or as far back on the pencil as you can that you still have control of it, so that you have, while you're thinking through what colors you want to lay down and how it looks, it's kind of like a sketch before you go in and ink something.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That's kind of a good way to think about it, is if it's really, really light and you don't like that specific green, but you still want it to be green, you can go in and make it a darker green or a more blue green or a purpley green or whatever, because you still have tooth available on the paper and you aren't like fully 100,000% committed to a color until you go in and you're doing the shading and the highlighting and the blending in of all the colors with your midtones and everything. So,
and that's something I think I just recently finally...
yourself a roadmap before you start your trip.
Yeah, and no, I usually jump in the car and just go.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I do that too sometimes. Especially with the more abstract pictures, I have a tendency to just jump in the car and go. On the more like design pictures like this, I have a tendency to plan it out and think it through a little bit more.
Okay, so let me switch which one I'm working on here for you guys to see that. Currently I've got page 11 out of my coloring book that I'm doing, but I'm going to lift up and show a couple other pages that I've worked on that I've got like in process going from some of my coloring books. So I've got my carnival one here that, to me, it kind of reminded me, there's a place here in Kansas City called Fairyland Park. It's an old amusement park. Oh, well, it's not even here anymore. They tore the whole thing down finally. But when I opened this coloring book the first time and got to this page, that was the first thing I saw I wanted to do. So the book's called The Curious Carnival, Coloring Book for Grown-Ups. And it's kind of cool. It's almost like, in a way, though, it looked like this carnival area should have been like an abandoned or old carnival area. It's not really abandoned.
Colors you choose.
Yeah,
You
so
did grungy colors like olives and oranges and browns
that's funny because that's what's on there so far.
and like antique-y.
Yep. I've got, Constance, I love this one. It is such a cool one.
Even like a bronzy or any of your metallic metal colors would be really nice if you're trying to do like a once upon a time thriving garden.
So I don't know if you can see it, Lindsay.
It's a little bright.
It is a little. And I've got extra bright.
Okay, there we go. Yes, I see it.
You can't see it so well that way, but so yeah, that's exactly what I have done. Is like this kind of grungy, metallic-y, whatever.
Like more vintage.
Yeah.
Like, put a little rust in it.
Margot, good to see you.
Hello,
we're coloring. We're playing around with color books today. So here's another coloring book that I've got that's just got tons of Coloring for Tranquility is what it's called. The only thing I don't like about this particular book is it has the design on both sides of the page.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
And so, like,
kind of single-sided.
Yeah, I'm doing it single-sided even though it's a double-sided book because it's a thick book. And I take it with me when I do therapy sessions.
Uh-huh.
And so the page you guys are looking at right now is one that I've kind of done over time. And I do like 3 of the petals on this page with some different, hey Ty, different color combinations. Like either it'll be a light, medium, or dark of the same color family, or one against the other. Like I've got ones with one set of petals that have purple and yellows in it. I've got another one though that has the what I call the fire colors, red, yellow, orange. But then on the tips, on the other tips of the flower or the petal, it has blues. So all different kind of colors, and that one's been fun to color. I want you guys to tell us what your favorite coloring books are, or drop links to them so that we can all share with each other what. And I have a group. I'm not sure how many of you are in the group already. I think Connie is. I have a group called Club Go Create. It's a Facebook group, and it's for people who are creative, and doesn't cost anything to join it, doesn't whatever, and it's just a good place to share this kind of stuff. So that link will also be in the show notes. If you're listening to this and you're not getting to see the gorgeous slime that Lindsay just did, or the other coloring books I have, come over to creativeconnections.com and check out the replay. So I've got my Fairies in Dreamland book. I'll show you. I've got one page done of it. Just the what do they call that? The title page. It actually had a picture on it, so I colored the title page. And then, but then the next page, it has just like when we were, a kid's book that says this book belongs to, and you can put your name.
Yes, they have the title plate. It's a plate. What it's called.
I have my name in the book, but I don't have that color. That's the next page I want to color. So I haven't colored that one yet. And then I have my mindfulness drawing underneath, and all it is a watercolor sketchbook. So it has some really good tooth to this. It's really good, decent paper. It's one of my favorite sketchbooks is the Canson XL watercolor paper, and not super expensive, nice to do. And I'm doing some repetitive, tangly, doodly designs in it.
And I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there is that even if you don't have what a per se quote unquote adult coloring book, you can go to the dollar store for $1 and get a coloring book that's in the kids section, and nobody's gonna judge you. Honestly, I love coloring Lisa Frank.
Yes. Do they have kids stuff out for her stuff out still?
Oh yeah, Lisa Frank is still.
Oh my gosh.
I know, that's a name from the past, right?
That's a blast from yeah.
They still have all of the school supplies and the girly stuff.
And you know what? No shame in. I don't care if you're 30-something.
You want to sit down and color with your 3-year-old and do Paw Patrol. You're still going to get some relaxation therapy. Probably both of you are.
And you know what else you're doing?
Without the 3-year-old, but
Well, but you're also modeling.
You are.
You're modeling. You're encouraging not just the creativity, but you're teaching them that this is a calming exercise that's okay for adults to do.
Yes.
And so, we're sitting here going, oh, we'd be ashamed of coloring in a kid's coloring book. No. Let's not be ashamed of it. Let's do, let's keep it going.
There's lines on it. Usually I'm coloring it anyways.
And like Constance said, she's coloring in her tangles. So like this particular drawing you guys see that I have, I'm actually going to jump in with a color, and I'm going to color one of the pieces of it, one of the flowers. Normally I wouldn't color this until the rest of the drawing was done, but you know what? How many rules are there in coloring?
There are 0 rules in coloring.
Woohoo!
Coloring this dark blue on one of these little wheel spikes and decided I didn't want to do it all blue. I wanted to stop and do part of it this lighter blue. So now I'm making a different thing that the design didn't have. I just made it a different shape because that's what I wanted to do.
So you mean like you can be a rebel and an outlaw?
Yeah. There are no stereotypes in the world of coloring.
Woohoo! So I did an archetype quiz yesterday, and my archetypes were creator, magician, and sage.
And I'm an outlaw, a creator, and what was my other one? An explorer, I think?
I think so. I remembered you were an outlaw.
Yeah, that's me.
Because you remind me of me when I was younger.
Oh, boy.
I know. You should met her. She was Trip. Constance knew her. Ty knew her. 2 of our viewers knew the me when I was younger.
You're so fun.
I know. You know what?
Yo.
Guess how long we've been coloring and stuff?
For over an hour, I would guess.
For right at about an hour.
Great.
So, since my podcast...
Some decent progress with a whole bunch of yakking.
I know. We got to talk a little. So the contest, those of you who are still watching, if you look in the show notes, there are going to be links to, please share this out and put the hashtag art and apps in. Tweet it out with the hashtag art and apps. And I do need the tweet because that's how I'm going to find my winners. 4 people are going to win a copy of the coloring book that you see Lindsay coloring in right now. It's a downloadable coloring book that has quite a few pages. I am going to very quickly show you guys a video of part of that coloring book being born. Okay, so what you see here is a very sped up animation of me drawing on the Procreate app on the iPad. And that's with the iPad Pro with the pen. And what I'm doing is a mindfulness technique that you can get in my free ebook or my free mini book. And the link is down in the show notes. Go ahead and check it out, share it out with friends. As part of the contest, you need to get a copy of it anyway. This drawing is sped up very, very quickly. And what you don't see in this movie clip of it, is me zooming into the screen to get those little bitty details and zooming back out. All you see is the actual sped up drawing. But I think the cool thing, for one, is this app actually does that recording for you, so you can sit back and watch yourself draw later. It's kind of cool because you can watch your own process and figure out what's going on with it. And also, you can see occasionally in there where I'll draw something and then it'll disappear because I've deleted it, and then I'll draw over the top of that again to draw something else. So anyway, this is a picture from the front of the coloring book. It's using a mindfulness technique out of the mindfulness mini book. Let me clarify. And you can get that free on my website, and then 4 winners are going to win the coloring book that you've seen us coloring in today. There will be a link in the show notes to get to what you need to tweet, what you need to share, how to get the coloring, how to get the free Mindfulness is Wellness book, and next week, at the beginning of the show, I'm going to draw 4 winners who will get a free copy of the coloring book you see Lindsay coloring in right there. And you'll be able to print out as many copies as you want for your own personal use. Please don't, please respect the authors of anything you do like that when you get permission. And use, just print copies. Okay.
That's a sign from the universe, I think.
It's a sign from the universe. It was actually my granny, so I need to apparently call my granny after the show. It's real, folks. This show is real. It's live. It's what happens every week, Thursday, 2 p.m. Central. Miss Lindsay, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It was fun.
I love having you here. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for participating in our podcast today. You can find Stacy at Stacy Braiuca on any social media channels. Support us with your purchases in our tech shop, CRE number 8 TIV Connections.tech. Music courtesy of Enneagram Records, Scotty McBee, Upper Deck Studios, and Scott McBee. We appreciate their creativity, originality, and sponsorship of the show. Find the intro song Brooklyn and 59 in iTunes using the link in our show notes below. Our podcast website is CRE number 8 TIV Connections.com. Thank you from Creative Connections, bringing creatives and geeks together all over the planet, one tiny podcast at a time. If you are listening on your favorite podcast website, come by and check out our previous episodes on our websites. See you next week at 2 p.m. Central for the next Creative Connections.